One Cajon Valley Union School District students are safely back in the United States after being evacuated from Afghanistan. Local officials say 3 children from the school district are still in the country, desperately waiting with their families for help to get back to America. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. We have been following the story closely for the past week since learning these families were struggling to get out of Afghanistan. Today, Congressman Darrell Issa held a media conference with some of those families who have finally made it home safely. Their plea is to help the others still waiting because they are in danger.
News 8's Kirsten Holmes joins us now live with more. Kirsten.
Imagine waking up and everything you know is completely different. There are no police, no government officials, or the flags that you're used to seeing. Instead, strangers are patrolling your neighborhood with guns. Those are some of the scenes described from those freshly evacuated from Afghanistan. Their stories are horrific, and their plea is now to save those who are still left behind.
Every day there are more than 10 to 15 people were dying in the crowd. There was no chance for a family member with a baby of 4 years old and wife to get into that crowd because people were dying under the feet.
EL says escaping Afghanistan was a dream come true for him and his family.
I was trying to use all options I can. Like I was trying to think of if I go to Pakistan and get a flight from there. I was thinking if I go to Uzbekistan. But when I tried all those lucks too, the embassies were all closed.
His children range in age from 4 to 14 years old.
They are now okay. They're good. They're good. They're recovering now. They're in school, so they're happy. And their dream coming back to America comes true.
Now that they're safe, he says, the U.S. needs to help the hundreds of other families still stuck in harm's way.
There are many other people over there, stuck, abandoned in the houses. They need help.
The situation is very bad. You know, it's a lot of dangerous for the people who work there.
Yusuf says his family and several of his colleagues barely made it out alive.
There were concerns that some of parts of Afghanistan were falling down, but we didn't know it will fall down in 15 days. And then they escorted them to inside the airport. And this happened exactly 8 hours before the explosion.
His plea, like all the other evacuees at Thursday's event, is for the U.S. government to help those left behind. And that number could be in the thousands because so many are afraid.
Some of the data has been in the hand of the Taliban, and they will get harmed if they do not evacuate them as soon as possible. Yeah.
Congressman Darrell Issa estimates about 500 U.S. citizens are still in Afghanistan waiting for help. But he says those on green cards, visas, or SIVs, they need help too, and that number could be well into the thousands. And all he says, 37 million Afghans need help after the Taliban took over Afghanistan.
Kirsten, we continue to hear from Americans stranded in Afghanistan today. They have no way out. Has there been any word on any more evacuations taking place?
Yeah, so far officials say they're still working to bring anyone who wants to come home out of Afghanistan out of the country, despite the passing of the August 31st deadline. But they say they have to work with the Taliban to do so safely. Back to you.
Hope that we can get home anyone who wants to get home. Thanks so much, Kirsten.
Today, accused cop killer Jesse Gomez took the stand in his own defense, testifying that he did not know he was being approached by San Diego police officers when he opened fire. The shooting killed Officer J.D. de Guzman and wounded his partner Wade Irwin. Today, Gomez, who is facing a death sentence in the trial, told the court that he thought he was about to be killed by gang members.
The way they approached me, I thought from when I see it approaching me to when it got to me, then I got hit with the lights, and then all I heard was word from, I thought they were gang members. Yes.
Gomez's defense attorney claimed that he was high on methamphetamine and opened fire because he was in fear for his life. Prosecutors say he knew who he was shooting at and was just trying to avoid going back to prison.
It's day 3 of search efforts for the 5 sailors who went missing after a helicopter crash on Monday.
The Navy has released very few details about the incident. News 8's Shannon Handy has more on what we do know and why these searches often take time.
Carlo and Marcella, the Coast Guard continues to help with that search. Loved ones are, of course, growing anxious because news has been slow to come. One expert says that's typical in these types of cases.
Once that helicopter went over the side, all things stopped. The Navy has one goal: find that helicopter, find those crew.
Jim Kidrick is a retired Navy commander and fighter pilot. He's now president and CEO of the San Diego Air and Space Museum. He's taken part in searches at CB4 and says the reason why this one seems to be taking long is because the water in that area is several thousand feet deep. Not only that, but also for the sake of the families.
They're going to put boats in the water. They're going to look at it from, from the aviation side, airborne. So they want to make sure that they don't leave anything to doubt in their attempt to find this helicopter.
According to Navy officials, on Tuesday afternoon, 60 miles off our coast near San Clemente Island, a MH-60S similar to the one seen in this video was doing routine training on the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln when it crashed into the ocean. A total of 6 sailors were on board. One sailor was rescued and transported ashore. That person is listed in stable condition, but 5 others are still missing. The crash also injured 5 sailors on the ship. All are in stable condition. This isn't the first time a military helicopter has crashed during training off our coast. In 1999, near Point Loma, a Marine Corps CH-46 Sea Knight crashed while trying to land on the USNS Pecos. News 8 obtained video of the incident showing the wheel of the helicopter got stuck in a safety net. 7 of the 18 Marines on board were killed. It took 51 hours to officially declare them missing. Human error was found to be the cause. In this latest incident, the cause is unknown. For now, though, all that matters is finding the missing sailors. On the Abraham Lincoln Facebook page, relatives of the crew have expressed concern, saying they have yet to hear from loved ones on board. This afternoon, a post on the page read in part, "Families and friends of Lincoln Nation, we know that many of you are still concerned for the safety of your loved ones. When mishaps like this occur, we have procedures in place to minimize communication off of a ship in order to protect the privacy of the families whose sailors are directly involved in the mishap." And that expert tells us military personnel are specifically trained on how to escape a helicopter that crashes into the water. They're also equipped with flotation devices. We, of course, will keep you updated with any updates as soon as they become available.
Thank you, Shannon. Better weather near Lake Tahoe may be giving firefighters a much-needed break.
Overnight, the wind died down and there were cooler temperatures for crews battling the Caldor fire. But the threat remains high as that fire moves east. Crews are keeping a close eye on areas that have already burned with fears that some spots could reignite.
Those things have been cooking for the last 3 or 4 days, and now they're all dried out. It's only going to take one tree or one bush in there to get the whole island going.
The fire has burned more than 210,000 acres, destroyed more than 800 structures, and is only 25% contained. So far, it has been a relatively quiet fire season for us here in San Diego County, but the federal government is not taking chances during the peak of fire season.
News 8's Tim Blodgett went to the Cleveland National Forest to find out what's being done to prevent fires there this Labor Day weekend.
To prevent more fires, the Forest Service has made the decision to close most national forests throughout California, putting out campers and leaving business owners in a tight spot a few days before Labor Day. While winding up Sunrise Highway, Mitch Reines and his family never saw any signs that the Cleveland National Forest was closed. They had just driven from Los Angeles.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. It's a long ride up here, a long ride back.
With the ever-constant threat of wildfires, Jennifer Eberlin, the top forester of the Pacific Southwest region, issued an order Monday temporarily closing 17 out of 20 national forests throughout California. Eberlin says, quote, "By temporarily reducing the number of people on national forests during this period of extreme threat, decrease the potential for new fire starts at this time of extremely limited firefighting resources." This year's fire season is devastating northern and central California. The Dixie, McFarland, and Calder fires alone have burned more than 1 million acres of national forest land this year, but Southern California has been largely spared. The Chaparral fire burning north of Oceanside has been relatively small compared to other fires around the state. Though San Diego County has not seen a devastating fire this year, the Forest Service is taking no chances and included the Cleveland National Forest in their list of closures. It's a popular area for Labor Day weekend campers and hikers.
The lodging is, horrendous. I have to refund, money that's all prepaid. And we were stocking up on Monday for the weekend and buying product that now I'm going to end up throwing away.
Tom runs the Laguna Mountain Lodge off of Sunrise Highway. Because his store is on federal land, the order means he has to shutter his doors. He says the Forest Service has made him close while there was active fires burning in the area, but never to prevent one.
There's no imminent fire danger. They're just concerned about somebody starting one or using resources they say they don't have. Why is the National Parks, which is another federal division, they're still open? Why is the state park still open?
California state parks and national parks are run by different agencies and could close if needed. Right now, the Forest Service order extends to September 17th, but could be adjusted based on firefighting efforts around the state. But only time will tell if our region will be spared from the smoke and ash of major fires burning in Northern California.
I'm hoping they allow me to get this forest open back up, but I don't, on the other hand, I don't want fires either. I mean, we all want everything.
Tim Blodgett, News 8.